Now, first of all, Ajay, welcome to the Apex channel, YouTube channel. What we are going to be trying to do today is, all the viewers that we have, all the audience, we are going to be allowing them a small insight into
Hmm.
what goes on inside a trader's mindset. How do you trade? What got you into trading? What is your perspective on the markets as a general term? So we'll be discussing about those kinds of things today. And well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Kartika, for inviting me. It is like a singular honor for me to join the Apex interviews.
All right.
I'm excited and looking forward for the interview. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Now, starting with you as a trader, but before the trading part, you as a person. So, what got you into the markets? What led you to decide that yes, this is what you want to pursue? This is a prospective career thought. So, what led
Hmm.
you to that decision?
So I was doing my CA thing. We were into coaching, and my friend used to trade markets through swing trading in the cash segment, not in the future. So he used to tell me that the this share skyrocketed or plummeted because of this news, because of this news. So I was a bit reluctant to believe him. So I was like, okay, okay, okay. Then after a few weeks, I got into like watching the markets, how market reacts to news. Like there was some budget issue. Budget was presented in the parliament. Then I saw market crashed. So I was like surprised that if we can know, like all of us know that on this day there is going to be a budget, and if we can trade the things rightly, then we can make huge money. So in a way, I was so excited and kind of what do you call a passionate over the time. I became passionate over the time to understand the things like what really moves the market. Then I opened my DMAT and those regular stuff and everything, and I ended up doing things like we all do, speculation.
Right. So, how long has it been since you are an active market participant?
I started in 2018 January. Like we met on Telegram, if you remember
Yeah.
rightly.
Yes.
So journey started from there only.
Okay, so and would you say that over this period, like of course you have grown a lot, you have learned a lot, but would you consider yourself to be a net profitable trader in in the period of let's say 2 years, but considering that the first 6 or 8 months might have been the learning phase, but after that once you started, would you consider that yes you are a profitable trader and this can actually be a prospective career choice for all the aspirants and all the newcomers who are thinking that they can give time to this and actually choose this as their primary source of income.
Okay. So for the first 6 months, I was literally busting my account every week or so. Then I started placing trades with less capital, and I sustained the amount. So for the first 6 months, it was a very tiring. It was a very tiring job, and it plays with the psychology. It hits you hard when you lose your money, and your money actually belongs to your parents. You haven't earned any a single penny, and if you lose your parents' money, then it's you hard. It hits you
Yeah.
harder. Then, after searching the things, I stumbled upon some YouTube channels. Then on Telegram, I joined Trade Learners Group. I saw a message of Mr. Kranti Raj on Quora. Then I joined the group and I started learning like how. Then I reduced my capital to earlier I was using 2 lakh rupees. Then I started using like 10,000, 15,000, and increased the amount. As far as the profitability is concerned, yes, I believe I am net profitable now, but it took me a year to make what I've lost, to recover the things. And those recovery mindset is very suicidal. Like you tend to risk more to make less, which is suicidal, I guess. But after 2019, things changed a bit. Like I started reading new things. I got to understand the patterns. I started backtesting. I started discussing with the seasoned players. Then I think it's a good thing to pursue as a profession.
Okay. So what I got from this was that people hold misconception as such ki you can make money if you have money in the markets, or if you have a large capital, it's easier to make money. So that's not really true, judging from what you have said. So that's not true at all. You can definitely start small and then scale up slowly.
Absolutely, Karthik. Absolutely. large capital does not mean you can make money. You cannot manipulate the stocks, right? So
Exactly.
you cannot like I have 100 crores, so I can manipulate Bank Nifty to
Yes,
certain
yes.
extent. No, you
Correct.
cannot. There are bigger players in the market
Yeah, there's
who
always
will
somebody bigger.
absolutely they'll rob you. Literally, seriously, they'll rob you in the very opening minute you place the trade. And psychology plays an important role. When capital grows, your psychology has to be strong to contain the loss because market doesn't move like that. I have placed a buy order, then it should start moving in my favor. No, it might go against you, and probably it will go against you in the beginning. For sure, it will. Then you cannot come like I have good capital, then I can make money. No, it's not true. Absolutely.
All right. Now, coming back to the trading side of things. So, as a trader in the markets, as a market participant, which group of people do you would you place yourself in? Either in the aggressive side of people who perform live market analysis, jump into trades, albeit in a calculated manner, but still take impulsive trades, or in the conservative camp of people who are well waiting for pullbacks and wait for double confirmations, and then even a bit later they still hesitate to allocate their capital into a certain position. Where would you place yourself?
I would call myself a hybrid trader. I use both. Like I have set of scripts, I analyze them daily on various time frames. Then I get prepared. If the level comes to my level that I have placed, then I'll take the trade. Otherwise, if there is some news, the stock is rising or plummeting, anything is going to happen, then I'll choose the trade. Then I'll trade this.
Okay, so depending
Like
on the market dynamic you would adjust yourself and your approach.
yes, indeed.
Okay, so well, this is definitely a nice idea, but I think this is something that that would be difficult to implement. If, of course, you are a seasoned trader, that's fine. But for somebody who is figuring out which side would they place themselves in, so practicing both at the same time, that would get kind of sticky. So if you were to recommend it to someone that perform live market analysis or perform post market analysis and use live market to execute that said analysis, which
I
one
would
would you say?
I would say come prepared.
Come
This is
prepared.
going to a battle. Market is no less than a battle. If you're not coming in the market with ample of preparation, then you might lose.
All right. Now, all right. Now, from the coming to the market as a profession, as we said. Now, yeah, either there's no guaranteed income or guaranteed pay rate as such. So there's always this big question mark of what kind of income or what kind of growth rate is one to expect from the market for your capital. Now, there have been instances where people have grown their account, 100%, 500% in a matter of months. And there have also been instances of people, handing out 15, 20% growth rate per year who are, handling a healthy capital or growing slowly, whatever their case might be. So, what is the ideal growth rate for a trade account as per you? For a trader, not a passive participant, but for an active market participant, what is the ideal growth rate or a growth rate that you would be happy for yourself?
Karthik, I would say it's a subjective question because every trader has its own returns, like in mind that I want to make this and make this. And I would say protecting the capital should be the first approach of any trader, irrespective of their capital size. If you can protect your capital, then you can survive. So, considering the inflation and everything, I would say if you're making 5 to 7% monthly, especially in day trading, then you are considering including the leverage part, then it's a good return to manage. But what most people lack is the consistency. Like I have made returns in January, February, March, then I lost in April, May, June. I lost for continuously 3 months. But my losses was smaller as compared to the returns. So I was always tend to protecting my cap. I was always tend to protect my capital, then progress slowly. That's I would recommend protect your capital, go
And aim for
easy.
consistency.
Yeah, aim for consistency, 100%.
And when you say 5 to 7% on leverage capital, that means the final, maximum contract position that you can have, right? If you have 50,000 and with leverage you can take up to 5 lakhs. So you mean 5 to 7% a month on the leverage capital of 5 lakhs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, so that is pretty decent when you look at it on absolute capital. That is definitely a good, percentage return that you are getting, and especially if you are going to not withdraw that, if you are going to compound that, then that is really nice.
Absolutely. Compounding is the eighth wonder. Like people with the leverage part, like some of the brokers are offering 100x on Bank Nifty futures, which is suicidal. Like if one trade goes wrong, then you'll bust your account, right?
Correct.
If you use smaller leverage like 10x, 20x for the Bank Nifty part because it is less volatile as compared to the stocks, then you can survive longer and make consistent returns.
Now, when talking about compounding, when people look at the income from the market, here again we have two categories. The first group is, the kind of people who say they want, of course, दोनों का end goal is the same to make money, but the purpose is different. The first group says that they want, to cover their expenses from the market. The second group is, as you said, compounding is the eighth wonder, and I think too that market is the fastest way to compound your money. No other financial instrument offers such quick growth rate. So the second group says that yeah, I have money saved from my for my expenses, and whatever I am making from my trading account, I am putting it back in, and my aim is not to recover for my monthly expenses, but to compound my capital. So which mindset do you think is the right one?
Second one, the later one, like you should have something on your own. Market is not meant for covering your expenses, especially in the beginning. Market cannot cover expenses. If you're making return, that's good. You should aim to build a wealth out of market, not a income, right? So you should be, when you are participating in the market, you should focus on the wealth part, not on the income part. Like I have to make 50,000 a month to cover my expenses. So that pressure will make you risk more. We should not be there. Plus, I want to say this to the students, young students who are like in the 12th class or in the college, first year, second year. They are thinking market as a money making machine, which is really not the case. Like as we all know,
Right.
everyone loses, but nobody tells. Everyone is like profitable in their own arena, but they never tell the truth. You are not asking for the statements. They are just like I made this, etc., etc. So creating the illusion for new participant is absolutely rubbish, and the new participant should think in a matured way that market will reward you, but you'll have to do certain practices and have to be consistent with your knowledge and applications.
Correct. Well, that is absolutely correct, considering the amount of in short and simple words, the amount of false trainers that have come across in the social media these days. Everybody is promising something or something. Well, that is something that needed to be said for sure. Thank you for putting it out there. Now, coming to the analytical side of things. Now, this was all about your your mindset, your psychology. Coming to the analytical side of things, as a trader, we are almost always concerned with the short-term market movements or technical analysis, as we say. But here again, we see that we have other subcategories. You have your price action group of people who think they are above everything else. You have your indicator aligned group of people who think indicators are the short and simple method to trading. And then you have the option analysis or the open interest side of people who think they can side with the big players and make decent returns on their capital. So, what is the group that you align yourself with?
Excluding the option part, like you said, option chain or something, I'm using both. I'm using indicators and price action both. I think the combination would work really well. Most of the people consider indicators lagging, which is really not the case because we don't know how things work. That doesn't mean the things are wrong, right? Price action is indeed the core of everything, but indicators are based on price action only. Like the creator of indicators have focused on price action, then they have formed the indicators. Like if you take example of Bollinger Band, it's a standard deviation of the moving averages, right?
Right.
So that there is a crossover if we consider the rejection from lower or upper BB. So price action is incorporated at every step of indicator. Like we are using Bollinger Bands for trading securities. we are taking Bollinger Bands, upper Bollinger Bands and lower Bollinger Bands at extreme points and consider price action over there to initiate a trade.
Correct.
Whereas in when you choose price action, it doesn't mean that it price will touch resistance then form a pattern. No. Whereas indicators can help you in finding those extreme points where price action can happen and you can take the trade. So indicators are helping hand.
So both of them should be used, and it's fine if you use both of them in a balanced manner and not overly relying on either one of them,
Yes, absolutely. That's what I meant.
because neither one of them will be absolutely correct all the time. That cannot possibly happen in the market.
Usually, Karthik, combination will not work anytime. Like it won't work every time,
Correct.
right? We have to accept losses. We have to see there is no such universal thing in the market. Like if this pattern has occurred, then it will hit for sure. No, market doesn't work like that. So we have to bet on our accuracy through back testing, forward testing for certain time. And every security is different. Let's take an example of Nifty 50. If you have received a signal of buying or selling in Nifty 50 index, that doesn't mean you can buy all of the 50 constituents
Correct.
of the Nifty. If the index is giving you a biasing, that doesn't mean that you are going to buy every security part of Nifty. This might lead to upper circuit or lower circuit.
Correct. Yes,
Market,
that makes sense.
yeah, absolutely. So is the case with Bank Nifty. So we have to choose our weapons wisely, and every security is different, and you cannot rely on any universal indicator or universal system.
Okay, now when we talk about systems, or as you said, you cannot rely on universal systems, but considering the initial stages of when you start picking up systems or you start developing your systems. So when we come to that point, you have two conflicts. You have the single setup route or the universal setup, and then you have the multiple setup route, which can be different for different securities, or you might simply have different setups that you are have a liking to. So what do you think is the more efficient way to trade by yourself? Would you rather have a good setup with a moderate hit rate but a well defined RR, or would you rather have tailor made setups for different securities that might be difficult to keep track of, but they do end up working great?
See, Karthik, trading to day trading, like we all know, and most of the people are into intraday trades. So here talking about the RR is a different thing because we have limited time. So I would say bet on your accuracy rather than RR because movement is kept. Like stocks cannot move either ways in the limited time. It will take time to move either up or down. So I would suggest go for the higher accuracy ones. And by going higher accuracy one, that doesn't mean that they are available in the market for sale. You have to develop it
Mm-hmm.
by backtesting, forward testing, by using your bias, by learning from others. There are so many wonderful groups in the Telegram. Like we have the Trade Learners, TTL, our very own battlefield, where we
Yeah.
learn, teach, and everything is going in a fluent way. In the same way, there are like Quora on you can post your questions, and there are certain blogs, Investopedia, investing.com, where you can learn new things, especially the groups which have some PDFs or books. You can search the book and find them and study the knowledge of author that he's willing to share. So I would say when you are going for the day trading, go for the higher accuracy ones. Like the dreamy ara doesn't, like you say, the dreamy ara doesn't exist in the day trading.
Right, the 1:4, 1:5 RR as they all look out for, that doesn't really happen.
No, that happens, but only after the markets. When the market is over, you can check.
Yeah, post market analysis. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get 1 is to 10, 1 is to 100 on options. You can literally get 1 is to 100,
Yes,
considering the volatility we are facing right now in Bank Nifty. But when you are in the market, you cannot aim for 1 is to 100.
correct. You need to know where to step out of your trades and when to step in. Exactly.
Absolutely. To make consistent returns, you'll have to have a system which gives you both entry and exit.
Correct. So, when we talk about exits of a system, well, going by a standard system, there are multiple methods. The first one is a fixed exit, a premeditated exit point that is already there. It might be a fixed percentage point from your entry or indicator confirmation, anything. The second one is from the trend friendly traders group who think that they can trail until the market closes, or until it goes and goes and goes. So, which one do you prefer in your trades personally? Do you exit at a fixed point, or do you hold on to a position to make the most out of it?
Okay, that's a really nice question, Karthik. Thank you for asking me. Like when I was learning the trades, so I used to hold trades which end up in losses. Okay, so I was, you can call me greedy. I was like, no, it can move more, it can move more in my favor. What happens? But it hit the point, saturation point, exhaustion point. Trend can exhaust, and it does in day trading. Trends can exhaust and reverse. But in the hopes of gaining more profits, you might lose your capital. So for the beginners, I will say go for the fixed percentage targets, especially in day trading. And then you can move gradually for the trailing thing when your quantity grows. Then you can go for like 50% book at this point. Then I can trail the rest, or move your asset to the cost. These are some like universal methods that we all use to trail the profits.
Okay, so you would say when starting out, go for the fixed exit route, and once you're comfortable with doing that consistently, then you can focus on maximizing the potential of your entry signals.
Absolutely.
Now, that was for the setup and the technical trading side of things. Now, coming back to the psychological ballpark, uh, what would you do to maintain a trader's mindset, or maintain a balanced psychological aptitude in the live markets? Because that is something where I have seen a lot of people struggle. Once you are in a position, it gets really confusing to it's not confusing, but rather it gets very stressful to watch your MTMs move. Plus people have I have seen people face issues with plus 1,000, minus 2,000, plus 3,000. And well, I have also seen you with your healthy positions, and you don't seem to sweat at all. So what do you do? What's going on in your head at that particular time to keep a balanced mindset?
Okay. See, Garthik, I have lost a lot by doing these things. When I see my MTM red, I used to square and then see the position went in my favor. Then I used to like regret. Why the hell I squared off? Because I didn't wait for the candle to close. It didn't reverse at all. It is falling like a knife. And then still I squared the position because it took a pullback. So it was very tiring and exhausting for my like psychology. It disturbed my psychology because I was right in the analysis, still I was not making money. So I'll say that please don't look at your MTM skin while trading. Always look for the charts, and if you want to exit, then please wait for the candle to close
Okay.
and have some exit. Like, respect your stop loss. Most important thing, respect your stop loss and targets both. What we do, like some movement comes in favor, then in order to make sure that we don't lose a dime, we move our stop loss. Then it hits, and we ended up getting nothing and pay brokerage from our account,
Right.
which is really not good. Like if you're confident on an analysis, you should hold the trade. That's what I do now. Earlier I used to square as to shift my SL to cost or something so that it can hit literally.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to wait like oh, okay, then it should hit, it should hit, so that I can make sure that I won't lose. It say it like it tempts when market moves in favor, it tempts you.
Correct.
Like, so in a way, it is not a healthy practice to move your stop loss or target, especially in day trading.
So it is all about quitting that cycle of fear and greed, basically, to not fall into that trap, to not be
Absolutely,
greedy, and to not be too fearful.
absolutely. Once you have fired your order, you have mentioned an inputs that is target and SL, leave it on the market.
All right. So what people lack is the inability to stick to their own decisions. Is that where they fail?
Absolutely, everyone know how to analyze. These are some normal stuff like engulfing, spinning top, morning star, evening star. All these are basic stuff, but I won't question their effectiveness because they are effective. But what we do is we don't follow our analysis completely. Post market we do, but when in the markets, when we are trading, we do not respect our learnings and surrender ourselves to the market, which is really not good. So I would suggest everyone respect your SL, respect your target. Once the order is fired, do not modify it. Wait for market to do the thing.
So that's
That
what you do as well now. Once you are in position, you either move on to looking for new trades, or you simply look at the chart, but you don't mess around with your order that you have already punched in.
yes, I have made a rule. Once it's gone, it's gone. You
So
cannot pull it
there's
back.
only two exit routes then. It's either the stop loss or the target
Yes,
hit.
either target or SL.
Okay. Well, that sorts out a lot of things, but even I try to follow that as much as I can. But this is where most people lack. They end up making the same decisions, but after a day or two, they find themselves back in the same place. That, well, okay, now they're closing either a candle too early or a candle too late, and then they end up complaining कि yes, analysis was right. In the end, मेरा target hit हुआ, but because I moved my stop loss, I trailed my stop loss or something like that, they were not able to make money out of it. So what would you suggest for such participants who are struggling with the psychological side of things, or simply who lack the discipline? What would you suggest them that helps them to build their willpower or to strengthen their discipline? Is there any books or any activities that you would suggest them to participate in?
Coming to the psychology part, Karthik, once a active chain smoker told me it's hard to quit smoking. And
Yeah,
it's hard because he never tried. They never try because they have a belief in their system that it's hard, so that they never attempt to try. That is the case with traders. Like they think it's hard, but they never try. Like right now, like I have been trading from 2 years, and if I don't sit in the market for like 4 or 5 hours, then it's completely fine. Once I fired the orders in opening 5 minutes, market does not warrant your time. Once your orders are gone, you cannot influence the prices in your favor. So it
correct.
doesn't make sense to sit on the screen to watch every tick moving your favor or against. So like respect the market, respect your stop loss, respect your target. And as far the psychology part is concerned, you'll have to accept losses. Like anything which is dear to the human or mankind, they tend to protect it, and they're reluctant in losing it. Be it anything. And money is the most important thing right now to the
Right.
mankind. So of course they are like they become paranoid. To be honest, they do become paranoid while trading. No, I have made a wrong decision. No, it was the like I was long, but it's going down and I should short.
Yeah.
Where the traders fail, like you have to believe in your trading system. You have to believe. You have to be confident of your trading system.
Hmm.
And like I said, repeatedly said, respect your stop loss, respect your target.
That makes sense. Now, as you said, there's when you said traders about being paranoid, there's also this thing that you mentioned that self doubt starts to creep in when the market slightly moves against you. Now, from my perspective, what I think personally is if you have the same depth of analysis spread across all your positions, you have the same level of confidence on each one of them. So, coming from that school of thought, the self doubt is never an issue that I personally struggled with, because my entry triggers, my entry conditions, they were all uniform across all my positions. So, let's say if I have a short on Reliance and a long on Nifty, I won't necessarily, doubt both of them at the same time, because I was looking for the same fulfillment across both of them. Both the charts were the same for me. So, is self doubt, is that an issue that you faced with, or is that something that you kind of struggled with in your beginning phase?
Considering the example of Reliance that you have given, I would place my bucks on both of them. Like if Reliance is long, then I'll go Nifty long because the way Reliance is pushing Nifty, pulling Nifty,
Yeah.
it's absolutely what do you call?
Well, it's quite
I
unreal the way it has been pulling Nifty.
exactly. It's like Reliance is manipulating. Reliance is pulling the Nifty. Like Nifty is dancing on the tunes of Reliance. So
Correct.
consider the example. I'll place my bet on both of them. If Reliance is long, then I'll go Reliance. Then I'll go long on Nifty.
All right,
Let's
all
come
right.
to your point of self-doubt. Yes, absolutely. Like when you face the enemy, you don't have the ability, or you have don't have time to self-doubt yourself. When you're in the battle, you cannot tell your enemy that no, give me 2 more minutes. I have to finish one set more for my workout. Then I can fight you. No, it's not the case. He'll behead you in no time. So is the
Correct.
case with markets. Like you cannot take a position and they say no, I'm not self-doubt. I might change my position. No, the
You
market
need
will
to be able to
move.
take split second decisions with a high level of conviction, I guess.
Absolutely. We live in an algo environment. We live in an HFT environment. Decisions are taking in milliseconds. Leave second, these guys are pushing orders in milliseconds. So you don't stand a chance. Okay, so quantity is only the thing that you can manage.
The exposure and the risk, that is all that you can control, not the
Yes,
markets.
that is in your hand. Except for that, there is nothing in your hand. Like you want to go long, you're following your analysis, go long, and if you're following your analysis, go short, then go short, and give appropriate target and SL. And by appropriate, I mean you have to discover yourself. Indicators exit. There are certain indicators which actually help you in exit, like parabolic SAR or some pivots or something. But considering the general framework, or talking in a broader sense, you have to discover yourself. What is the target? What is the target for this security? You can use anything like volatility concepts or candle based on candles, the size of candles. You can use the target and SL. Most usable indicator for targets is ATR,
Right.
so
I
you can
have
use it
used
as
that.
well.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Now, coming back to the technical field. Now, well, as since you have experimented a lot, which is something that I know I have seen you, trying out new concepts, reading new books every now and then. I do know that you are a, very avid reader of books when it comes to markets and concepts related to it. So, do you have any, chart concepts or indicators that stand really close to your heart that you are biased with, that you try to incorporate most of the times in your analysis?
Yeah, exactly. Like there are Bollinger Bands. Recently, I've been fascinated with the super trend, especially on GBP INR, on the currencies. Super trend is giving some neat signals. So I would say Bollinger Bands and super trend are like my favorites among all of them. And as far as the experiments are concerned, I have realized anything can work in the market. When I say anything, I really mean it. Like I'm using some crazy concepts right now, which I'll share hopefully very soon, and they're working really great. So I would suggest everyone never stop your experiments. Market is no less than a universe. We have just discovered Milky Way galaxy. So there
All
is a
right.
whole new thing in the market which can be discovered and put to use effectively.
Okay, and would you have any sources or any go-to books that you would recommend to our keen viewers who want to look for new concepts or new things, which are not simply your run out of the mill concepts. For example, if I say Fibonacci retracement, so that is something everybody is aware of. You can find a lot of content on that, but there are some hidden gems too. For example, as you said, ATR. Now, ATR is not something that is very commonly used by each and every trader out there. So you might find some hidden method to use them that works very well for you. So do you have any books or any specific authors that you would like to recommend for finding out such concepts?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've been studying one book, which is name is Trading Systems, Making Trading Systems, which is by Mr. Peter Kaufman, if I'm pronouncing it right. So I can share the books. There are so many books, Karthik. What I do is there are some groups on Telegram on library books. I scroll them every night and look for new books, and I study their index. I study some concepts on it, and if I find it useful, I simply download them and study. So I have been studying a lot from actual past 1 year. I have dwelled myself into reading and applying. So if you call me a trader, I would call myself a researcher at this very point of time because I'm more into researching than trading.
Okay, so you would strongly suggest that trading is all about exploring the market continuously, building up upon what you already know.
Absolutely, Karthik. Market is surprising us on daily basis. Like let's take an example of silver, which is a precious commodity, right? They doesn't move so much because uh, they are traded in such a way they are used to contain because either the fluctuation we cannot control the fluctuation of the prices because it dampens the economy.
Correct.
Like silver rose like 40% in a matter
Yes.
of weeks, which is huge.
Yeah,
I've
I
never
don't think that
seen.
has ever happened before. I don't really think that has
Absolutely,
happened before.
absolutely, Karthik. Like I have been tracking the commodity prices from past 20. Like I have seen the data of past 25 years, but the rise that we are seeing now is something huge in both gold and silver.
Right.
Let's take an example of crude as well, which went negative
Yes, that was that was
in
a
the
funny thing
derivative
at that
segment.
point.
Yeah, which was like really shocking for me because I was short at that time, and I consider myself fortunate because market closed early, like they closed at 5 p.m. and all this scene happened after the when US market opened.
Yeah,
So it was trading in negative. So I was literally worried about my position. Like what? How can I square? I have to pay things to square my position.
correct.
But the
Right.
expiry helped me.
Right. So, all right, that makes sense. Continuously, try to learn something new, try to implement something new. Now, coming to the systems. Now, as you have already studied a lot of concepts, you have gone through a lot of books, so you do have plenty of knowledge. But do you have a procedure that would help the viewers to, come up with a system of their own? Do you have like a guideline that you yourself abide by, that okay, fix the targets first or fix the concepts first and then work around the risk management side of it? What is the general framework that you have in your mind when you try to build a setup from the ground up?
Yes, Karthik. See, books cannot make you passionate about anything. If you are reading on physics, maths, anything, if you're just reading the books, it won't make you passionate.
Right.
I would say go for the markets, study, start trading, even with the one quantity. It will develop an interest or ignite a fire within you to learn more things and implement. Then you'll search for the books and it will make you passionate about the things. So when I started the markets, I was seriously not the passionate about the market. So I used to study and sleep while studying because everything went above my head.
Right.
So I was like, what is this? What is this? You cannot cram things. This is not an examination where you can write things and examiner will award you on
Yeah,
the basis
this
of
is
the
not a
answer.
pen paper exam. This is all about the practical
Exactly.
execution side of it.
Exactly. Money is involved here. We are talking
Exactly.
business.
Yeah.
So I would say first and foremost, dwell yourself in the markets, make mistakes, and there is no shame in making a mistake. You should not hide your losses. You should not be ashamed to say that yes, I lost today. But you should be passionate about recovering the amount. See, like I tell from my experience, I interacted with a lot of young gentlemen through the telegram. They only want fixed return, like so I want to make 50,000 to cover my expenses there, but that doesn't ensure that you are passionate about markets, that you are interested in learning the markets. All you are here for is to cover your 50,000 expenses. Well, if you read it right, if you perform it right, then market can reward you in crores. There is no upper limit here.
Correct.
50,000 is a minuscule amount when you are doing things right. So say that creating a barrier for your own, like 50,000, is a barrier. So it should not be the case. And market is not a fixed income instrument thing. You cannot come up like I have 10 lakh rupees and I want 1 lakh or 50,000 rupees from the market. Market will literally knock you down.
Right. So
So you
you need to transition from, I guess what you're saying is you need to transition from having one established primary source and then slowly make market your primary income source. You cannot directly begin with the market as your primary source of income.
Yes, Karthik, absolutely. You are not selling commodities here.
Exactly
You are
right.
not to the business. Like I have stocked up some blankets or something in the winter season, I'll sold them. This is not the case here. You are trading the markets where there are a lot of participants smarter than you, right? So you have to pave your way in such a way that you are net profitable at the end of month, at the end of week, right? So you can, like in the normal business we can create a monopoly with the capital in the traditional business to offer by offering discounts and anything as such. But this is not the case with the markets. If you have 10 crores, then there are people with hundreds of crores
Correct.
who who will punch you in the very first session. So you cannot come and say I have this capital, so I'll like big capital does not ensure money.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how big you are. In front of the market, you are always going to be nobody, right? That's how it works.
Absolutely. I would like to point one more thing, Karthik, here, like a option selling thing, which is that everyone is going gaga over it, especially on the Twitter. Like if you have big capital, then you can sell the options and take an advantage of theta. We need to understand that the theta kicks in when the expiry is near. Like on every Thursday, Bank Nifty expires,
Yeah.
right? So theta will not with theta will kick only when it's expiry day. On the when or till Wednesday, you can trade it like a normal security. The
Yeah,
deltas
makes
will
sense.
match, and you sell monthly calls, monthly puts, and you always think that theta will come in your favor. No, it will not. It will come at the end. Plus, if the volatility increases at that time, then delta will increase exponentially, and your sold things, like we said, in while selling the options,
Right.
there is
The
unlimited
risk is
loss.
unlimited. The potential is
Yeah,
unlimited. Yeah.
potential is that you can merely get the premium that you are selling to a buyer.
Yeah.
Whereas in buying, there is unlimited source of that. It's not a bar on the profits. Premiums can rise to anything. Like we have seen during the Corona time, premiums have exploded.
Correct.
If one was selling the puts that time,
That would
he
have
might
been a
have gone
bad time.
bankrupt
Yeah.
along with the broker.
Correct. Because of the heavy leverage that you are providing. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So by hedging things, I would say, yes, you can cover the things up, but hedging also does not ensure your profit. Hedging means saving your ass in the wrong time.
Yeah. Correct. Hedging is well basically counter positions to keep yourself neutral. It's not to lock in
Absolutely.
your gains. That makes sense. Now, from what you said, I think you are the kind of person that buys options and that does not write options. Is that correct?
Yes, I do. I do both of them, Karthik, to be honest. Like I recently started buying options, but option I consider option as a security, not as a lottery ticket, which most of
Right.
people do. I look for the item strikes to match the delta with the underlying. Like we all know, SEBI is coming with a
A new
new rule of the
margin.
margins.
Yeah.
So the leverage debacle is on the way. So we need to shift to options in order to make returns on investment options. Okay, so if we are getting the delta of zero point 0.6 and zero point 0.7 in the ITM, then it's a fair deal to have, right? Like it's same as trading the futures.
Yeah. Just adjust the quantity and you're good to go.
Absolutely, but most of the people, what they do is they buy option in such a way that they are buying the lottery tickets. They have all decided the loss before taking the trade. That this is the premium I'm paying,
And that is
so
what I
this
can
is my
lose.
maximum loss.
Yeah.
So they consider whole premium as their loss, which is unhealthy. I consider my premium as a price that I'm paying to trade the security. If my futures is hitting the SL, I'll simply discard the position. I will not wait that no, it might rise again and then give me profits. No, it will most of the premiums like we see expires worthless
Yeah.
on the expiry. Okay, so you cannot say like they say in the investments, buy right and hold tight.
You cannot
It
hold
will
that.
not. Yeah, you cannot hold tight.
Correct.
It will eventually create a hole in your pockets.
Makes sense. All right. Now, these are all the things that we had to discuss, talking about the trading psychology, the trading ideology, and the trading concepts. Now, coming back to you, Ajay. So, well, you know, as a market participant or even as a person, where do you see, or what's coming for you in the market in the short term or in the long term? What are your expectations from the market? Where do you see yourself? Either you see yourself as a market participant in the longer run, a permanent market participant that is here to stay and to make money, or are you planning to diversify and shift into something else?
Okay. See, Karthik, one has to diversify at some point of time. Right now, I'm into markets. Okay, so I'll obviously diversify my investments or my amount which I have making or will make from the markets to ensure stable income. Like I said earlier, market does not ensure stable income. Even if your capital grows multifolds, no, you cannot rely on markets for your family or anything, right? This is what most traders commit a mistake. Like they go, okay, no, okay, I have 10 lakh rupees. Even after learning, after 2 years, I might make a living out of it, which is really not the case. You
Right.
cannot depend on market for income. You can do trading, you can do stocks, but you have to diversify at some point of time. Now coming to myself, I will obviously diversify in the coming years, but let's take I would say for the coming 2 years, I'm here only. I'll do markets, I'll do trading. I might shift to investments, equity investments, like I do SIP or mutual funds, like we all do. But I would diversify into other business venture as well.
All right, that makes sense. That is a very mature thought process. That makes complete sense. Now, thank you so much for sharing all your valuable insight with us. And as you already know, you are part of the TDL group as well, where you always, I think you are one of the most active people in that big group, wherein you are sharing charts almost every single day, if I'm not wrong. So, thank you for sharing all of that as well. I surely do appreciate it, and I am pretty sure all the other viewers appreciate that too. Now, thank you so much for spending the time of the weekend, which was actually meant for you to enjoy. Thank you so much for spending it with me, and thank you so much for this lovely interview that we just had.
Thank you, Karthik. And by the weekend, you like meant to enjoy. Traders cannot enjoy life, especially when I'm eyeing crypto,
Right.
which works everything. Like it works on weekend as well.
Correct.
So I
Correct.
have to manage time. But yes, thanks a lot for inviting me, for having me. I do consider myself fortunate to meet you 2 years back. You are doing so good,
Thank you
and
so
wish
much.
you a lot of success. I won't wish you subscriber because I know this is not your end goal.
Yeah.
Your end goal is to spread knowledge and spread awareness. So I would say keep doing the stuff. We all love you. We all appreciate your hard work and wish you best of luck. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. All right then, I'll see you some other time. I hope I don't hope, I actually know that the viewers will be grateful for this interview as well. Thank you once again. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Thank you, Karthik. Wish you the same. Bye.